Anywho. What's it?
I'm Timmy.
I'm Justin.
And I play the part of Nathan.
And this, unfortunately, is Three Old Tech Dudes.
You have a collect call from Mr. Bob. We oughta baby eats a boy?
Wrong number.
Bob.
Like, he asked if you want to say.
They had a baby.
Yeah.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
I think that was actually an insurance company. I think it was a Geico commercial.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Save money the legal way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, save money the legal way. Save hundreds of dollars in insurance so you don't have to pay the whole quarter for a phone call.
Well, speaking of whole quarters, a couple of years ago, it's actually been 3 years ago.
Oh my. Has it now?
I know.
I gave somebody a lot of crap
You sure did.
driving to who knows where, getting a payphone.
No, I had that
And
mailed
I just
to
didn't
me.
understand it.
I had that one mailed to
Well,
me.
I'm sure that was equally ridiculous,
And
cost-wise.
I left on my lunch break to go to the post office and pick it up.
He was so excited.
I was.
And I was like, I don't understand. And
And
then
it-
we looked in it, and I was just as enamored as everyone else in the audience. So,
And then it started a trend. And
however,
Yeah.
Mr. Justin here has
a new acquisition.
doubled up and doubled down on that idea of buying some payphones, and he's got something even more fascinating for us today. What is it?
So this is my Millennium payphone. These were originally manufactured by Nortel of the business phone Nortel
Yes.
folks, and these came out in the mid '90s or so. They were supposed to be a step up from the regular customer-owned payphones that were on the market, in that these things, they give you a lot of information if you're an operator. It calls in I think twice daily and gives you statistics on the phone. You can see how many calls were made, what kind of calls were made, how much money is in the cash box, what coins are it'll tell you that you have this many quarters, this many dimes, this many nickels. It obviously accepted credit cards, and at the time chip cards weren't a thing, so it accepted phone cards with the smart chip in them. Not that I haven't ever gotten that to work, but it gave you some audio prompts as well as this fancy vacuum
I like the
fluorescent
display
there that gave you the visual prompts.
The display is really neat. It's actually really bright, too.
It is. This particular unit that I got, I have a feeling was located indoors. And I say that for a couple of reasons. One, it's just in really, really good shape. It also has the longer cord here on the receiver. Hello.
Oh, man.
And you typically didn't see these outside because, it gave people more cord to grab hold and yank and vandalize with. But
So, what state was it in when you got it? Did it work?
it
program it?
it functioned. And we'll pop up a picture here, but the screen wasn't nearly as interesting as it is right now. It just said out of order or out of service, and that's it. You picked up the receiver and there was nothing. It was kind of boring, and that isn't much fun.
No, not at all.
So I
Unless you want to
scoured.
make a call.
No, I scoured the internet as one might do sometime, and came across this project that a fella who was way, way smarter than I am about such things actually wrote an open source program that emulates the proprietary software that this once ran on. And you build your own little server. It runs on Linux, or a virtual machine of Linux if you're Windows only like I am.
We feel sorry for him.
It covers most all of the same functions, including it will let you make a call with a credit card.
No, that's cool.
It sends the credit card information to your server. So
He wants Timmy to try it with a credit card
would you
now.
try it on a credit card with a really high limit, maybe?
It's trying to steal my money, right?
Yeah.
What's this thing do?
Got dial tone.
It does.
Eventually, it'll tell you to,
Your
hey.
card or dial the number you
It's
are
doing
calling.
It does go up. We can
I'll have to get headphones out just to hear it.
Please insert your card or dial the number you are calling.
Oh, yeah. You
hear
dial
that,
tone.
It worked.
Yeah.
Or if you dial, let's just tell you to insert your card.
Yeah.
That's all it tells you.
I don't know. I just left off hook for a minute and started going on about it.
Now it should say to insert money. This is awkward.
Completely insert your card or deposit 25 cents for 5 minutes.
Yeah, deposit 25 cents
Yeah,
for 5
sure.
minutes.
Yeah.
Which is the rate that I programmed in. It can be set to pretty much anything you want.
Oh, it's set to like, please deposit $900.
You
Timmy.
could, I believe.
I need a
And,
bigger vault for that.
and you can
not a
also
card.
change the time interval. So when I got it, I created
minute.
this little card up here too, the surround. And
Right.
I rebranded it GTE because that was the phone company that I kind of grew up with. And I actually do remember seeing one of these phones, actually two of them, in our local hospital, kind of in the wild, as it were.
Yeah.
And it would have been operated by GTE at the time. But the card that was originally in it, I believe, said 4 minutes for $1 was what the rate was set at.
Oof.
That's kind of high.
I thought so. Well, I think as far as payphones go, it's pretty typical.
Is it?
$4 or $1 is pretty
For 4 minutes.
for. Well, I don't know about the time.
Seems like a
limit, but-
payphone something I never used for very long, like most people, if I did use one.
Right. 4 minutes is probably plenty. Although when I was a kid and used them, local calls, it was just 25 cents and you could talk as long as you wanted.
Right.
Yeah. They weren't
I
getting
just-
their money.
And you can set that for this. You can set it so that it's unlimited time. But you can also set these. It's got these little speed dials down here. So if you lift it and press this one, it will call my Salem.
Calling Salem weather line, it says
Yeah.
on the screen. That's cool.
So
All programmed up.
yeah.
Nice.
All right.
All right. Well, why don't you give us a look at the innards of this thing, Justin?
Look at what makes her tick.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to get up. Oh, right.
Alarm sent, cover open.
Yeah, it doesn't see again. It was geared towards security and whatnot. So right now it can't do anything about it because it's not connected to my server. But
Already grossly more complex than
Wow.
last payphone
It isn't-
we had on our channel.
it isn't terrible.
What's it using for a processor in that thing?
I think I actually have that information somewhere. But
It's right there. Okay, curious.
so this is the main board. On this side, this is what would be called the logic board. It's kind of a motherboard. And then on the other side of this is the telephony board or telephony. How do you say that word? Is that-
Telephony.
Telephony. That's correct. And then it's just circuits for like the card validator. Under here is for the display, and then this is the coin mechanism.
Yeah, it seems
So
very similar to the one in the other phone.
yeah, it's not terrible. I mean, other than this monstrosity up here, which
Yeah.
is bigger and more complex.
By a bunch, it's true.
It's not. I mean, this is giving audio prompts and generating its own dial tone, which the first phone that we featured on the channel could not do.
Yeah. It's got some of self-generating
Right.
capacities to it.
Yeah, and this has plenty of or all sorts of prompts that it can give
What
you
is the
audio.
big chip? Is that actually an 8088?
I don't think it's an
I don't think
88. I
it'd be
don't.
that extreme.
Z80?
I don't know. There's labels.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Mm.
I was kind of curious.
So, and this just kind of lifts up and slides out. It's not really. I got really good at changing these out. I was troubleshooting a problem with a fella, and
Cool.
so it's kind of awkward when it's not mounted to anything because this is extremely top heavy now. It wants to do that. But in the field, if this was actually mounted to something, this would be much, much easier because, all of the other ones, this whole part slides off
Mounted to the wall.
and you have to do something with that. Then this, it just hangs here and it supports itself, which is a great design idea.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So, and then below it is just the standard coin vault that you would have in any payphone down here. works exactly the same, and then the box actually looks exactly the same as the
Yeah, I figured it's
the other one.
probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty standard
Neat.
stuff. So that's the look at the innards, and then right here we'll splash in a little bit of what it took to get this going. So here's just a little demo of what this will look like eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and start the Manager program that the phone calls into. And naturally, I have to type in the root password. Helps if you have the path right. So here we are waiting for a call on the Manager. Now, if we go over to the phone and we enter the super secret code to get into the phone, which is the same on all of them that are not programmed. So once you actually authenticate with the password, you have to open the phone with what's called the T key. And then we're going to go into the download menu. And we're going to say, yep, go ahead. And now the phone is dialing into the modem on the server. Oops. And it's connected. So now on the screen, you can see the tables, and these are the actual tables that the phone uses, and they're being passed to the phone, and then the phone acknowledges the receipt of the table. And it looks like we have a problem, which occasionally happens. We'll probably have to start this over again. Oh, nope, there it went. Nope, it didn't. There we go. Yeah, it hung up. That's a bummer. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to give that another try. So it'll start the process again, and I restarted the Manager because if you don't, it doesn't actually stop pushing the files over or the tables over. So the phone will reconnect and it will just start trying to push a random table wherever it happens to be in the group of tables, and will error out almost immediately because it's not the table that the phone's expecting. So hopefully this transfer goes a little better this time. Occasionally that happens. I don't know exactly what causes it. It may just be that the virtual machine isn't running exactly smoothly. Huh. Well, we have an issue this morning. Restart it, and hopefully this time this goes a little better. I'm hoping that the virtual machine was just lagging a little bit. So we're connected. And then we should start transferring tables, and hopefully it goes a little smoother. If it doesn't, we've got an issue. They usually transfer a little faster than this. It looks like we're going to go now. Maybe. I think so. I think we're okay now. So it was probably just that the virtual machine was lagging a little bit, and the phone, as with pretty much every modem-dependent device, is very, very intolerant of any kind of lag whatsoever, which is one of the reasons that it's such a challenge to get anything like this to work over a voice over IP setup at all, because voice over IP in general has some buffering, and modems don't like that. because it takes longer than they expect, and they don't like things to not happen when they're expecting them. So, as you can see, it's transferring the tables to the phone itself. It transfers the table. Some of the tables have to be broken up because they're too large to transfer in a single data burst. We'll see that here on some of these. It'll give a percentage of done on the table. None of these are doing that, so all of these are small enough that it can transfer it in one push. When we go back to the phone, we're still at download in progress, and this screen will stay like this until the download is complete. All right. And if we check out the phone here, we completed. So that download was successful. So we'll press star to say cool, and then we use the T key and we close the phone again. And then it goes to our idle screen here, and it'll start scrolling the advertisements that I programmed in. So these were messages that I programmed in. It does that one 3 times, then it scrolls. You could hear the modem click there, maybe. It's actually dialing back into the server again to let the software know that it was opened up. And so anytime the case is opened, it calls and says, hey, somebody opened me up. Or in this case, it was saying that I used what they call the craft serve menu, or the craftsman service menu. So it's calling to say that, hey, maintenance mode was entered, and this was the PIN that was used to authenticate into that menu. So we'll have to actually wait for that to complete, which it looks like it has, maybe, because you can't make any phone calls until that's done. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll make a phone call. So we'll turn the volume up here so that you can...
Please completely insert your card or dial the number you are calling.
So we'll call my time and temperature number.
Please completely insert your card or deposit 25 cents for 5 minutes.
And we'll go ahead and insert.
In the foster care system. Visit CASAWC.org or search CASA of Washington.
And then it counts the time down that you have remaining. Once that starts hitting about 30 seconds, you'll start getting a message saying, hey, you need to put more money in. And once that time runs out, it just disconnects you. Like there's no warning or anything. It's just, you're done. Yeah, you could actually hear the relay in there clicking with it. It was
trying to send an alarm,
yeah, it was trying to dial into the server. And he opened me.
It's like,
that thing is really cool, Justin.
Well, thank you.
I'll have to quit knocking your payphone.
I own 2 of these now.
That's right.
yeah,
You get 2 of this particular model, right?
I do, yes, exactly. The other one, I believe, probably spent time in an enclosure outdoors. The blue shroud down here on it was a little sun bleached, and it looked a little more worse for wear, but it was still in really good shape. So these are fun phones. I like them because they're fairly easy to program.
The edge of the table a little bit there. You're off the edge of the table there.
I think we're good. I don't think we're going anywhere.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I think it's time for Echoes from the Asylum.
I thought I heard somebody scratching at the door again.
I want to
I actually think it's just my
do
daughter
them
upstairs.
comments. So,
Who are we hearing from this week?
well,
Here,
got a
I'll
lot
give
of
them a
good
call.
comments. Give 'em
Who am I calling?
here we go. Here's another one on one of our old populars from back in the past. The ham radio entry-level comparison.
Ah,
Yes. Andy F. writes for us, thanks for the review. Great video. I just ordered an ICOM 2300H just now.
nice choice.
I am going back due to the current world situation. I was a radio enthusiast in the 1980s to the late 1990s. It's
Yep.
good to be back in the 2-meter mobile radios.
Yeah.
Last November 2021, I got myself a 2300H.
Yeah.
This will be my second unit. Thanks a lot. Regards from Southeast Asia.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. So,
Neat.
thanks for the comments, Andy. I'm glad you decided to jump back in to the world of amateur radio.
Amateur radio?
Amateur radio.
It's been a long day for Timmy.
that video is something else. It either gets complete fire, angry comments, or people love it. There's no middle ground with that video.
Well, I think we've come to the conclusion that it, much like whether, if you're a Chevy or Ford guy or whatever,
It's
Yeah.
definitely the brand
it's
wars.
the
Yep.
brand war.
It
Like this
totally
is my
is.
brand, or Mac or PC to most. I mean, it's just one of those. It's like, okay, it's a radio.
Now, the thing, I came by my decision very honestly because that Icom was the last
It was
of those
really.
radios that I bought.
And I remember you
Yeah.
had to be talked into it, if I recall, because
Well, yeah, there was so much more expensive.
the higher expense.
It was
yeah.
it was like $30 or $40 more than any of the other radios.
You bought
and
the
I'm like,
Yaesu first, and it gave you some trouble, and then you bought the Kenwood,
And I did
you
not
didn't
like
care
that.
for it, and then you bought the ICOM finally. So.
I finally
and
gave
you've
that-
since bought more ICOMs.
Yeah, that Kenwood is in your possession now, is it not?
my car
I thought so. I'm glad to see it's getting some good use.
Yeah, it's a trunk ornament at the moment. I'll get it hooked up. I'd like to actually do a more in-depth review on it, and as well as all those radios, programming and the like. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
Glad to know our little bits are
Some
making it across the internet to
across
where was
to
it?
other
Asia?
parts of Asia. It says
All
Southeast
right.
Wow,
Asia,
neat.
so that's pretty cool. Well,
Awesome.
hope you guys like this video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. You can find us on Facebook. We post a lot of non-YouTube content over there, just posts and pictures every once in a while, things like that. And we tweet on Twitter here and there and interact with folks there. Got a few guys that come into the channel here on YouTube that way.
Yep.
And you can always email us at thedudes@threeoldtechdudes.com. Hey, until next time, I'm Timmy.
I'm Justin.
Yeah, Nathan.
And this is Three Old Tech Dudes. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Three Old Tech Dudes. Please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more tech old and new, tinkering at the workbench, repairs, ham radio, electronics, computers, and more. Please like this video and share 3OTD with your friends to help us grow the channel. We tweet at 3 Old Tech Dudes 1 on Twitter, and you can keep up with us on Facebook. Just search for 3OTD and look for our logo. Thanks so much for watching.